The stranger who knew everyone's future. No one knew where the stranger came from. One cold evening, as the sun disappeared behind the hills, a tall man wearing a long black cloak walked into the peaceful village of Amani. His face was calm, his eyes seemed older than time itself, and he carried nothing except a wooden walking staff. He asked for no food, no money, and no place to sleep. He simply stood in the center of the marketplace and quietly said, "I know the future of every person in this village." The villagers laughed. Some called him a madman. Others believed he was only another traveler looking for attention. But curiosity spread through the village like wildfire. Soon, people gathered around him. The first person to step forward was a wealthy merchant named Baraka. "If you truly know the future," Baraka said confidently, "tell me what will happen to me." The stranger looked directly into his eyes. "In 7 days, your greatest treasure will disappear. If you continue to trust the man you call your closest friend, you will lose everything." Baraka laughed loudly. "My business has never failed. My friend has been with me for 20 years. He walked away, convinced the stranger was lying. The next person was Amina, a poor widow raising her young son alone. She nervously asked, "What about me?" The stranger smiled gently. 3 mornings from now, someone will knock on your door before sunrise. Do not ignore that knock. It will change your life forever." Amina thanked him, although she didn't understand. One after another, villagers came. A young hunter was told never to enter the northern forest after the next full moon. A proud soldier was warned that his greatest enemy was not outside the village but inside his own heart. A selfish landlord was told that if he continued treating people cruelly, he would spend his final years completely alone. An old woman was told she would finally meet the daughter she had believed dead for 25 years. The stranger never hesitated. Every prediction was calm, detailed, and frighteningly specific. Soon the entire village was talking about him. Some believed he was blessed by heaven. Others whispered that he was a dangerous spirit. Village Chief Obaisai ordered his guards to watch the stranger closely. Days passed. Then the predictions began to come true. On the 3rd morning, before sunrise, Amina heard a knock. She almost ignored it. Then she remembered the stranger's words. When she opened the door, she found a lawyer holding an old envelope. A distant relative had died, leaving her a large farm and enough money to educate her son. Her life changed overnight. People were shocked. Exactly 7 days after Baraka mocked the stranger, his trusted business partner disappeared with all the money from their trading company. Everything the merchant owned was gone. He fell to his knees, remembering every word the stranger had spoken. The young hunter ignored the warning. Believing he was fearless, he entered the northern forest after the full moon. He never returned. Search parties later found only his broken spear beside enormous footprints that no one could identify. Fear spread across Amani. People no longer laughed. Every morning, long lines formed outside the stranger's small hut near the river. Parents brought their children. Farmers wanted to know if their harvest would succeed. Young couples asked if their marriages would last. Businessmen wanted to know which investments to avoid. Even thieves secretly visited him at night. The stranger answered every question with honesty. But there was one rule. "I will tell you the future," he always said. "But I will never force you to change it." Some listened. Some didn't. Each person chose their own path. One evening, Chief Obaisai invited the stranger to the palace. The chief looked serious. "If you know everyone's future," he asked, "then tell me mine." The stranger became silent. For the first time, he hesitated. Finally, he spoke. "Tomorrow, before sunset, someone you trust completely will attempt to kill you." The palace became silent. The chief immediately ordered every guard to be searched. His advisors were questioned. His servants were watched. Even his family was investigated. No one appeared suspicious. The next evening, the chief relaxed. The stranger was wrong, he laughed. At that very moment, his favorite bodyguard, the man who had protected him for 15 years, suddenly pulled out a hidden dagger. Before he could strike, another guard tackled him to the ground. The chief survived. The village was terrified. No one doubted the stranger anymore. Months passed. The village changed. People became kinder. Enemies forgave one another. Parents spent more time with their children. Some people stopped chasing wealth and started helping the poor. Others finally confessed secrets they had hidden for years. The stranger never asked for praise. He simply watched. But one person remained unconvinced. A brilliant young teacher named Lila believed the stranger was manipulating people through fear. She decided to expose him. She secretly followed him every night. She expected to catch him meeting spies or gathering information. Instead, she found something impossible. Every midnight, the stranger climbed the tallest hill outside the village and stood beneath the stars. He spoke to no one. He simply looked into the sky as if listening. One night, Lila stepped out of the shadows. "Who are you?" she demanded. The stranger slowly turned. "I was once like you." "What does that mean?" "I once wanted to know my own future." "What happened?" "I found someone who showed it to me. And I spent my life trying to escape it." "Did you succeed?" The stranger lowered his head. "No." Lila stood silently. "Then why tell everyone else?" "Because knowing the future is not a gift. It is a burden. The future is made of choices. Some people hear the truth and become better. Others hear it and destroy themselves. I only show the road. They decide whether to walk it." Lila finally understood. The stranger wasn't controlling fate. He was revealing possibilities. One final week arrived. The stranger gathered the entire village. "I have one last prediction," he announced. The crowd became silent. "Tomorrow morning, I will leave this village forever." Everyone begged him to stay. Children cried. Parents pleaded. The chief offered him land, gold, and a beautiful house. The stranger smiled. "My journey is never meant to end in one place." Before dawn, he quietly disappeared. No footprints remained. No one saw which direction he traveled. Years passed. Children who had once listened to him became adults. The village grew prosperous, not because they knew the future, but because they had learned to make wiser choices in the present. Then one rainy evening, travelers arrived from another kingdom. They spoke about a mysterious man wearing a black cloak, a man who could see every person's future. The elderly villagers looked at one another in silence. The stranger had returned, just not to them. And somewhere beyond the mountains, another village was about to discover that the greatest mystery was never whether the future could be known. It was whether people would have the courage to change when they heard the truth.